Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aniq Muqri bin Nahizlin and I'm partner with Muhammad Qawiem and Ahmad Aizat. So we are from group number 4. So for this week experiment we are doing Foundry experiment. So we go to the main point for the experiment. So what is Foundry? Foundry is a metal casting manufacturing facility. So metals are formed by melting them into a liquid, pouring the metal into a mold, and then extracting the mold material after the metal has solidified. So basically aluminium and cast iron are the most processed metal. So for this experiment we are using sand casting. So what is sand casting? Sand casting is a casting process by which sand is used to create a mold, after which liquid metal is poured into this mold and to create a part. So why we are using sand casting? And as we know, sand is more cheap, and then it isolates well, and it can be formed into any number of mold shapes. For this sand casting, there are defined steps to this process. So for this experiment, we are using a dumbbell as you can see on the left of this the page, that we are using dumbbell as a metal example. So I give to my partner to present the steps for the experiment. Thank you.
The first step in the sand casting process involves fabricating the foundry pattern, the replica of the exterior of the casting for the mold. These patterns are often made from materials such as wood or plastic and are oversized to allow the cast metal to shrink when cooling. They are used to create the sand mold for the final part and can potentially be reused depending upon the pattern material. Oftentimes, two pattern halves are separately created, which provides cavities when put together. Cores are internal mold inserts that can also be used if interior contours are needed, but are typically disposable after one casting. The type of pattern and its material is dictated not only by the desired part dimensions but also by the number of casting needed from each mold. The second step is the process of making the sand mold from this pattern. The sand mold is usually done in two halves, where one side of the mold is made with one pattern and another side is made using the other pattern. While the molds may not always be in two halves, this arrangement provides the easiest method of both creating the mold and accessing the part once cast. The top part of the mold is known as the cope, and the bottom half is the drag, and both are made by packing sand into a container, which is called a flask, around the patterns. The operator must firmly pack or ram the sand into each pattern to ensure there is no loose sand, and this can be done either by hand or by machine. After ramming, the patterns are removed and leave their exterior contours in the sand, where we can create channels and connections into the drag and the funnel in the cope, known as the sprue. These gates or runners and sprues are necessary for an accurate casting, as the runners and gates allow the metal to enter every part of the mold, while the sprue allow for easy pouring into the mold.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Qawiem bin Ghani. My mental number is 1915543. So moving to the third step in sand casting, which is clamping the drag and cope together to make a complete mold, as we can see here, which is assembled. If a core is needed for some internal contours, it will be placed into the mold before the clamping step, and any gating or runners are also checked for any misalignments. We don't want to have any misalignments to occur. The next one is when the desired final material is melted in a furnace and is then poured into the mold. It is carefully poured into the sprue of the mold, as we can see here, where the molten metal will conform to the cavity left by the patterns and then left to cool completely. After the metal is no longer hot, manufacturers will remove the sand from the mold with many methods such as vibrations, water jets, and other non-destructive means, which we call it as shakeout, to reveal the rough final part. The last part is cleaning step. So this cleaning includes removing the gating system and runners, as well as any residual molds or core parts of the remain in the final pieces. The part is trimmed in areas of excess, and the surface of the casting can be sanded or polished to desired finish. After a measuring cleaning, each part is inspected to defects and is tested to ensure compliance with the manufacturer's standards of quality, so that they will perform as intended in their respective applications, so that it can have a dumbbell shape perfectly. That's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.